me. My movie suggestion for the week is a throwback from the 90s, okay? Pertaining to Nancy Guthrie. If I can get this. It's kind of dark looking. But if you can see, this is an image of a person who is dismantling the cameras at Nancy Guthrie's home, okay? This is an image, one of the images. Thank you for joining me. Thank God for the FBI. They are on the job and they are getting closer and closer to getting information to who is the person or persons that broke into this woman's home and abducted her, Nancy Guthrie, from Tucson, Arizona. Thank you for joining me. Let's hear what they have to say, everybody.
And while the individual depicted in a mask and backpack and gloves is not characterized as a suspect, the authorities now have at least one image to go on.
And I want to bring in retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Richard Frankel. Richard, how big is this development? How significant is this? And where does the investigation go from here?
Yeah, as Aaron just said, this is the biggest development of the investigation in that they do have pictures now that, well, not confirming she was taken, but confirming that there was a masked individual immediately before the time that she went missing. So, you know, as you look at this investigation, it would lead me to believe that this was the person, at least that was involved in some capacity in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And that's just, you know, based upon my observation of what we're seeing. Also, you know, it's hard to make out, you know, is this a man? Is this a woman? Anything more about that. But you can see the eyes. You can see a little bit of the mouth. There are also programs out there, AI-generated techniques that are available to the FBI and to
What's in the person's hand? That's what I've been watching. What is that in the person's hand? Is that the greenery that was found on the ground by her door? Because I've heard somebody trying to speculate that that greenery could have came from the pot in the corner, which I don't believe that, because had the pot hit the concrete, it probably would have broke because it's a clay pot. It looks like they've got some type of greenery in their hand, like they're trying to obscure themselves and the visual of breaking into her home and dismantling the cameras. If you look carefully, there is something in his or her hand. And I believe it is the greenery that was found on the ground by her door, because when you go back and look at that circumference, you don't see anything mimicking that greenery that's on the ground in front of Nancy's doorway. Where did it come from? Did this suspect have it in his hand to try to obscure any type of visual?
Other law enforcement, that they may be able to start getting more information about who this person is. They're going to be taking that picture and they're going to be putting it through every single configuration that they have of every database they have to see if there's anything more that they can get from this picture. They're also going to be looking at the clothing. They're going to be looking at everything associated with these pictures to see if there's anything more that can take them to the next lead. But I think this is a great job by the FBI and by law enforcement. They did not just move on from prior leads. They kept working it just like they do on these major investigations, and they were able to come up with this evidence.
And Aaron, they're not calling this person a suspect, but the FBI director does say this person was armed.
And I don't see a specific weapon just looking in the small version of these images, Diane, but that's what the FBI director says. And in looking just at the mask and the gloves and the backpack and My God, you think how terrified Nancy Guthrie may have been, assuming she confronted this individual in her home at about 2 o'clock in the morning after a game night and dinner with her family at her daughter Annie's house nearby. We know that the FBI has also been scrutinizing other cameras here at the house. We spotted them on the roof, looking at rooftop cameras that were part of Nancy Guthrie's home security system. So perhaps the hope is they'll be able to recover additional images in addition to the camera previously inaccessible to authorities for a variety of reasons, they say. But the hope is to try and build out a much larger profile of this individual. Even though they're not calling the person a suspect, it is the best images authorities and the public now have to go on, Diane.
And so many now hoping that they will lead them to Nancy Guthrie. Aaron, Brad, Richard, thank you all. And investigators are asking anyone with any information related to this case to call either one of those two tip lines on your screen. And we will have much more on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. And David will be back with the whole team.
If you have any information, please call Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-514900. This is pretty good news. ABC 15 Arizona is the source of this information. Let's see what else they have to say.
From World News Tonight with more on this story later this evening. I'm Diane Macedo. Right now, we'll return to your regular programming. Have a great rest of the day.
This has been a special from ABC News.
Okay, let's see what else is popping out here in the streets. As most of you know, Savannah has spoken. She did a video live by herself without her siblings, pleading to the public if they have any information, which is a switch from the video the other day with her siblings, where it sounded like they were defeated and possibly assuming their mom was gone. I don't know. You really don't know what is going through the minds of a person. Some people think the FBI helped script the commentary that we've heard in the videos. One person thinks, Nancy Grace thinks this was also aided by the FBI, this latest video by Savannah. It doesn't really matter in the end. They want their mom back. And possibly she was informed by FBI that we do have someone on camera. I do not believe that the person sending these messages to TMZ and the news stations are legitimate. And this is possibly why she made the latest video asking for the public's help, because she now realizes there is no correlation between the person that took her mother versus the person reaching out to TMZ and the news stations. Hello, Rachel. Thank you for joining me. And I think that's about what's going on. She doesn't believe it. If you have any information to this person here, this is the latest developments, everybody. If this person, the jacket looks familiar, that jacket has a line going across it. If you know somebody in the general Arizona, California area, or somewhere else in America with a jacket with a line going across, call the FBI. As you see in the one photo, he or she has something in their hands. What is that? What is that in their hands? It is obvious they are carrying something in their hand. It looks like leaves, some type of greenery, which I believe is the greenery that's on the ground by her door. I just thought about something. Oh my God. Please don't tell me this lady had a spare key under the clay pot. Was there greenery in that clay pot? Because if you're coming out of Nancy's door, it will be to your left. You're coming up the walk, the pot sits to your right. Are we going to find out that greenery was in the pot, still in the pot. She had a spare key in the pot or under the pot. Hot damn. Because many people leave a spare key outside for emergency purposes, for family members, in case they lose a key, can't get in, they forget their key, lose their key, they have a spare key on the property outside. Are we going to find out that Nancy had a spare key outside? I do believe that what I'm seeing in the photograph in this person's hand is the same greenery that was on the ground, because I had been asking myself that. I haven't said it to you guys, but I said it to myself. Where is that greenery coming from? I don't see it anywhere else around the doorway. So could it be that there was a hard rain, a storm, and it blew the greenery up to the door? Or was it in the pot? It was in the pot, round the pot. Maybe she had it covered up in dirt in the corner, the key. Very interesting information. Welcome to the Vault Excel. That's the latest developments coming from the FBI, everybody. He also has a backpack on. Don't know if you can make out his shoes or not. Also, this is from Surviving the Survivor video. If you look closely to the photograph, whoever this person is, excuse me, sorry about that. Look closely. He has a mustache. Thank you so much, Surviving the Survivor, for this zoomed in photograph. Look very closely, everyone. And the mustache looks dark. Are we talking about an olive skin perpetrator? Someone who is possibly light-skinned, biracial, Hispanic, Italian, Latin American. Stay woke, everybody. Thank you for that zoomed-in picture. Surviving the Survivor. That is a mustache on the perpetrator. You forgot to shave, sir. See, that's what people don't think about when they are committing crimes. It's the little details that get you caught. And also, they're going to be able to get the shape of your lips as well for comparison. So I'm assuming someone is walking around now using a razor to shave off their mustache. Who is this person? What is in their hand? I do believe your eyebrows are dark. So I don't think this is a white man. No. You have dark eyebrows, don't you? You're an olive complexion male with dark eyebrows. That means your hair is dark and you had a mustache. Maybe even a goatee. Who is this person? I believe law enforcement is close to finding this person. And you thought there was no recording. Obviously, you didn't care. And as one guy has been saying on a podcast, there's no way that you could trust anyone that would enter into someone's home without permission breaking and entering, and take a person out of their home by force, and they put their hands on her because the blood outside is hers, not somebody else's. So that means they put their hands on her physically. She was assaulted. You all need to start focusing on that. So everybody that's giving advice on what somebody should do with the ransom money and pay the ransom money, they put their hands on an 84-year-old woman. Why in the world would you believe something someone has to say after they have broken a woman's house and assaulted her? If the two are even the same person, you're going to sit here and believe what they have to say about your mother. Yet they show no proof of life. Didn't ask her any personal questions to relay back to you to prove they have your mother. And you would take them at face value? And if the woman perished in their care, how are they going to bring her back? You think they're going to ride around with a deceased person in their car and drop her off? Come on now. You think they're going to be able to give you directions where she's deceased, if indeed she's deceased? I want people to think about what they've been saying, because I always say nobody thinks. Okay, she's alive, then prove to me she's alive, which they would not do. Okay, if she's deceased, then prove to me she's deceased. Where can I find her? Who the hell's going to tell you? Think about it now. Somebody's going to try to give you directions to where they have discarded your mother. Make it make sense? No. Great pictures. Great pictures zoomed in. Person is wearing a backpack. What were you doing with the backpack? What were you doing with the backpack? That's why you were there on the property for about 40 minutes, because everybody's been raising a stink about the time. So what were you doing on the property for 40-something minutes, sir, ma'am? What were you looking for? We now know you had a backpack, so you took something out of there. Why would you be walking around with a backpack, a mask, and latex gloves on in the dark? Where did you park your car? I'm curious. Hello, Jess. Hello, Valisa. Where did you park your car? Oh, it doesn't matter. That's right, because it was dark outside, so it doesn't really matter where you parked the car. Nobody's going to see it any damn way, right? You didn't think you were going to be seen. That's why you were bold enough to stand there. You had something in your hand. I'm trying to figure out what this is all about. Hello, Linda. Thank you. What was in your hand? You fucked up. You took advantage of an 84-year-old woman. And you possibly know her. This is why you were brazen enough to go up to the door. Could be Linda. But it's dark outside. They know it's dark. They know this town has this light pollution ordinance that's a bunch of hockey, bull hockey. They knew that, and they knew they wouldn't be seen. So they probably went in her car. And you have to remember, they didn't ride a bike because she's missing. And you're going to assume there's at least 1 to 2 people together. You got to remember, the person took her out, and I won't doubt this is the person. Unless they show us footage of another person entering in. Now we have to ask, did she have surveillance inside? Somebody says tools to break in a safe. Possibly. But if you're in a car, you don't need the tools. You take the safe with you. You can take it home and fiddle with it all you want in privacy. Oh, and maybe the car was in the back. Did they say tracks in the backyard? And they haven't said anything about the back. I don't think you can make it through there because she's got it bricked off through the back with the pool and everything. I don't think you can get a car through the back. You know, she's got a circular drive, and then she's got to drive around where the garage is. And then there's the, you know, the visual of the, I guess that would be the pool house or guest house. And so there's a little area back there where you can park, but I don't think that it can extend for you to be able to drive on around. You're welcome, sweetheart. I'm going to say this to this idiot here, and however many other idiots are involved. You better hope she didn't have any nanny cams with her in her house. No. I hope you got rid of your clothes, that jacket. Because see, you might be that bold type that thinks, oh, they don't have anything, she don't have anything. Then why the backpack? To carry documents and things in, which means it's personal. Because a stranger don't need your documents. For what? Unless you're in business with somebody, such as a partner with a company, and they need documents to forge, you know, their name and, you know, erase name off a document, something like that. This thing's personal to me. But then we also know that when people burglarize homes, they do have backpacks. They have backpacks, they have duffel bags to carry goods out. What else does the FBI have? Oh, my. There won't be any more updates. The FBI is in charge of this surveillance and gathering data, which is a wonderful thing. And Mr. Trump did tell us the other day that there will be something definitive. And I guess this is the definitive. Somebody says maybe hazmat suit under clothes. Hazmat suit, huh? What do you mean? You would have that over your clothes, sweetheart. Oh, this is the best news. Update. Oh, that's from 9 months ago. Okay, it was not, that was an update. I wanted to play her her speaking. What's in his hand? Look very closely. What's in his hand? This is why Savannah has a change of a demeanor. As you saw the video yesterday, she's got a little lipstick on, makeup, got a little jewelry on. She came prepared to deliver the good news, to let you know, anybody out there, you can help me find my mama. Because she has decided now, she knows that whoever this is, they're not the same person sending the note. I think the people sending the notes, including the guy arrested out in LA, these were people who just decided to take advantage of a terrible situation. Now, in the end, they could be related, because for all we know, the guy arrested, he may know somebody in this Guthrie family. Because I'm still not on board with him calling Annie and Tommaso, because it still doesn't make sense. It's just as ignorant as the person that was calling TMZ. Stay woke. They are eerily the same. You have a guy in LA in custody who called Annie and Tommaso about the Bitcoin, saying, we are waiting for the transaction. That's what the person asked that was messaging TMZ. Stay woke. He didn't notify Savannah directly. Person calling TMZ and the news, they didn't call Savannah directly. Why not? See, there's something to this. And I won't doubt that guy, he knows Annie and Tommaso. Because what are the odds that two separate people in the universe has decided to take advantage of an old lady missing, and both are asking for Bitcoin money, but don't know each other, and both don't direct Savannah Guthrie directly, yet she's the one holding the money bag. I'm woke. Soon as they told us they are not the same people, I still said something is wrong. And you always have to remember, law enforcement does not tell you everything. Just like they told us, we don't got nothing on the video. We ain't got nothing on the video. Poof, voila, 1 week later, we have an image. Now, maybe they found the image through hard work, or they lied to us. Either way, the image is free for the viewing. And somebody is hot damn butter. Because they know they've got that. Drum roll. What else do they have? Exactly, Ann. We don't know the half of it. You must understand that it's no coincidence they were at the Circle K Friday looking for a car. Are you following me? It is no coincidence that law enforcement were at the Circle K, which we now have heard, or I read. It's a few minutes, 15 minutes or so from Annie's house. Hello, Stacy. Okay. And then that same night, when they left the Circle K, trying to get video footage of a car, they're back at Nancy's house towing her car. Anybody following where I'm going? You're at Circle K trying to get video footage of a car, and then poof, voila, at dark 30, you're at Nancy's house towing her car. So as I said to you all before, I'm putting the pieces together. I could be wrong. But what are the odds? Once again, Circle K, and you're back at Nancy's towing her car, which her car should have been towed day one. What's in Nancy's car? Anybody got any ideas? Are we going to find out Nancy was in her own damn car? She was in the trunk, the hatch, or the back seat, because somebody put her in her own damn car. And we already know strangers don't do that. Why would I put you in your car? Anybody have any ideas? Oh, that's right. Because where I'm going to take you, I don't want my car seen, and I don't want you in my car, especially if you're not breathing. If you're alive and I'm stowing you somewhere, I don't want you in my car. We are now 10 days in. Is Nancy alive? If you want to believe that her children are involved, one of her children or more are involved, you have to now tell yourself that Nancy would not be alive unless they had help, because who's going to take her food and feed her, give her meds, watch over her, make sure she doesn't escape? Stay woke. Because they are watched right now. So as someone said last night, if they have her, she's probably passed away. How are they going to send ransom notes if they are involved? Have to have a burner phone, naturally. And it's not to say that they couldn't have a spare phone and they've got it somewhere hidden. You can hide a phone anywhere. Hide a phone outside. Hello, Ladybug. Thank you. Is this somebody that knows Nancy personally, that took her out of her home? Is she alive? If she's alive, where is she? All these ransom notes and phone calls, it's all bizarre to me. Then we learned that the person that put in the last notice used US dollar, which we don't say that here in America. So are we talking about a foreigner trying to get money from Savannah Guthrie? Somebody from Nigeria, India, China, possibly. Or it could be somebody putting that there to throw us off. And as for TMZ, Mr. Harvey, I want you to stop talking. You have made a mess of this nonsense. Because you have been spewing shit that you possibly don't know what you're talking about. You're so adamant that the person is in Tucson and they took her somewhere and they drove her somewhere and they gotta bring her back. What planet are you from? There's no bringing her back. This should have ended last week if she was alive and they really wanted money. You see, I got all kinds of theories, and I'm going to go ahead and tell them before I jump off this live. It is somebody that knows her well, such as her children. They wanted to get rid of her. They were tired of her. They weren't getting what they wanted from her, such as money. Maybe she favored Savannah over her children. They offed her because they're waiting to divide up her property, her estate. They sent the ransoms. 3, they knew their sister would come to town. The money bag is here. Even a more perfect time to ask for money directly. Another way to lay it on thick. I don't think mommy's alive. What are we going to do about her house, her car? Stay woke. Because if you've been wanting to get rid of your mother, this is the perfect time to ask. But what if she doesn't come back? What if we don't find her? Are you going to keep the house? Are we going to keep the house? And I know some of you are thinking, Queen, good Lord, they couldn't be this bold to start talking about her house and car. Why not? Why not? Why not ask? You think somebody hasn't asked, Savannah, how long we're going to do this? When are you going back to work, Savannah? Who's going to stay in mommy's house? I know it sounds cold. But whoever put their hands on her, that was cold. Breaking into her house, that was cold. Rambling through her things, that was cold. Taking her out of that house, that was cold. And if you unalived her, that was cold. Checkmate. And that's what everybody needs to focus on. You cannot believe nothing a person has to say when they hit your own mother. Why would you trust a person that hit your parent? Won't even talk to you directly, but want your money. That's what they want, is a desperate person. She'll do anything for her mom. You think the FBI has not told her, we don't think this person sending notes is the person that took your mother out of the house? Of course they told her. But they also said, but it's up to you to decide if you want to send the money. And now a lot of you are questioning why she did the video by herself. Because she wanted to. Now, if I was listening to Duty Ron, he was saying she shouldn't have done that by herself. Why not? Why not? Isn't she the one that you want the money from? Oh, what difference does it make? How it looks. Hell, don't none of this look right. How about that? Don't none of this look right. And so everybody's acting like they so confused by the messages. No shit. So now you're confused that Savannah did a video by herself. That's what you're concerned about and upset about. What you should be concerned about is why she don't have her mama back. You've been begging for money all week. You've been playing games all week. Oh, I ain't gonna talk to nobody. It's the only way I'm gonna do it is through the news station, through TMZ. But you worried about Savannah uploading a video by herself. Come on now. Let's stop this nonsense. Hello, no perspective. My question is, why wait until now? Life insurance change or will and testament change? She's been fragile for years, I'm assuming. Well, and that's another question that has been asked. Very good question. Why now? Because she's old and frail, might kick the bucket, and I don't want to wait on my money if indeed this is an inside job of her children. And I'm going to tell you all something else that you all have not focused on. My understanding is that both children live in Tucson. Somebody said the son lives somewhere else. I thought he lived there in Tucson. And that's one person you all haven't focused on. Because somebody put it in my chat the other day. They said, oh, you're going to be shocked when you find out who did this. Because sometimes who it looks like, it ain't. Come on with it. Because both the brother and the sister looked strange to me in the videos. And I get it. Everybody agrees different. Everybody acts different. He's been in the military, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Why you all ain't looking at him? Come on with it, Queen. It's awfully cold too, ain't it? You see, you don't even know what's real. Now, some of you want to say the pacemaker, all that stage. Well, that's going to be kind of hard to do, stage a pacemaker, because the pacemaker is in the human. It ain't nobody getting ready to be doing all that back and forth with a body and dragging it and putting it in the bed and scratch that. But where's our church person? He or she that's so concerned that Nancy was at this imaginary church, Zoom link, whatever. And I also told you all about the Zoom thing that's for meetings. But then I had to think back. Somebody gave me a link years ago to a travel conference. And I hit the link and listened in, and people were commenting and blah, blah, blah. So maybe Zoom can do a stream as well. I don't do it often. So I'll stand corrected if I made a mistake by saying they don't stream. The point I'm making is, where is that person? Were you waiting for her to come into the Zoom stream or whatever and speak? Hi, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. Was that a protocol of everybody that's watching the stream? They come in and they speak and say, good morning, how are you? I'm just asking. You see, the one thing I always tell everybody, when you want to get to the bottom of who the perpetrator is, you look at everything that's going on. And that's the one thing we don't have. We don't know these people. You know an image you see on NBC. That's not knowing Savannah. You're looking at he said, she said of Nancy. That's not knowing Nancy. You don't know her daughter. You don't know Tommaso. You don't know the son. You don't know who Nancy's been dealing with, who she's been talking to. Has she been giving out money? Did she have an argument, disagreement with somebody? All that's going to matter to how we get to finding how she got out her damn house. You see, we don't know these people. For all we know, none of them got along. None of them liked each other. What if I tell you that some of them didn't like their own mother? You see, TV has been portraying people as happy people, like it's a clown show. But beneath all that clowning and shit, circus shit, you can best believe out of those people I've named, somebody don't like the other. Somebody despised the other, because that's just human nature. But they're not going to get on TV and tell you, oh, yeah, I don't like my brother. Yeah, I don't like my sister. Hell no, I don't like my mama. You think the mother will tell people she don't like her own child? Because it happens in every family. And you know what I told myself last night? This story is just a regular story that happens to be about a famous person's mom missing. But if you get down to the logistics of what really happened, it happens every day to random people. Because in the end, we are talking about random people. You remove the FBI, you remove all this TV coverage, they are no different than any other story that you have heard on the news, court TV, Oxygen, so on and so forth. You can best believe somebody had words with somebody, that somebody got an attitude, somebody has been having an attitude. You see, we don't even know what was discussed at the dinner. Maybe the 84-year-old lady was tired of giving up money. Maybe she's been milked by the money she's been getting from her daughter, Savannah, and they don't want to go to her. She has not been moving around house to house, apartment to apartment, condo to condo. She's been in the same place. She's probably frugal with her money. Don't spend her money. You'd be surprised how much money a person can have. I know my grandmother was a cheap lady. In my understanding, she had a little money in her bank account. Do you understand where I'm going? And somebody knows that. And somebody perhaps don't want to wait on the money no more. Oh, I know I'm in the wheel. I know she got me in insurance. But the only thing about that, if we're going to play that card in collecting insurance on Nancy with paying ourselves for insurance and her having us in the insurance policy, drum roll, you got to have a body. So that's a problem. So see, you got to get down to the motive of why she's gone, especially if it's her children. Are we going to find out that two of the children could have gotten together? Could it be the boy and the girl got together and conspired to get rid of mother? Ooh, that's deep, ain't it? As the sheriff said, everybody, looking at everybody. Would that hurt somebody's feelings if they found out? We have two kids that want money. Since everybody's been focused on Annie and Tommaso. What if you find out the son has an issue with mommy and his sister? Very expensive to live in Arizona. Ain't like living in Arkansas. Shut your mouth. I want to live good too. A video popped up the other day in the queue pertaining to Savannah, and it was talking about her having two houses, whatever. I didn't open it up because I already had enough sense to know she probably does have two houses because she has money to afford two houses. But I want you to role play with me. You can build up a lot of animosity when you aren't achieving and having the things that you feel like you deserve that such and such got. And it's in the scripture, we're not supposed to envy people, we're not supposed to be jealous, but it's human nature. Why her? Why him? You wouldn't be human if you didn't ask why. Why not? Why is she pretty? I'm not. Why is her hair straight? Mine ain't. Blue eyes, I'm brown. Gets a lot of attention, I don't. Got money, I don't. Lives in a big pretty house, I don't. Got a lot of money in the bank, I don't. Won't share the wealth, why not? I'm your family, damn. But you know that when you keep giving, usually doesn't stop. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why most people fall out with family and friends. It's the constant begging. And a lot of people feel entitled because I'm related to you. What's the problem? You've seen movie stars who don't even speak to their parents because of money. Stars who were young and their parents took all their money and spent it. So when the child got grown, they didn't have a pot to piss in but their name. I think of a hockey player from Canada who had his parents as his business managers. And they were so trifling that they went in and got lines of credit in their son's name and put him in debt for over $1 million or so. And then when he found out, he was crushed. Because he's looking at them like, I trusted you with my money. And I'm your child. And if you needed something, why couldn't you come to me and ask me? You didn't have to steal from me. Because this is what happens with people when they get in the fold of people with money, they feel entitled. And when they don't get their way, they will steal it by all means necessary. And that could be where we are today. That this isn't just about Savannah Guthrie. It is about Nancy Guthrie. Somebody was tired of the old lady. I know it sounds cold. Hello, Raymond. Nancy seems like a very nice lady, maybe kind and generous to a fault. She reminds me of a neighbor, sweet older lady, lives alone, fell for one of those scams and got for almost 30K, maybe. I don't know. What I'm trying to explain to you is that it could be any situation, but not every situation. Oops, it's my phone. Sorry about that. Somebody sent the message. Sony. Sony, join the chat. Oh, that was an hour ago. Oh, she's asking, did I see the news? I'm old school. I got a lot of old ways about me. I'm 55, but I got a lot of old ways. I believe in cash. I don't believe in debit cards. I don't believe in credit cards. I believe in money, cash. I want to see it. I want to smell it. She probably did too. I won't doubt she kept cash money. You're talking about an 84-year-old. She's not maneuvering like a 50-something-year-old. So I always tell people, you want to get to the truth, you got to get in the head of everybody in the circle. And it's going to be impossible because you don't know the people. But I'm going to get in the head of Nancy. I'm old school. I like money. I like cash. I keep it. Somebody probably knew that. Stay woke. She probably didn't spend she probably didn't spend on a lot of things. Because if she didn't spend for the subscription, that would tell you what type of person we're dealing with. This is my house. I do what I want to do. Okay, I got cameras up there. I got a roof up there. But who's to say that wasn't her money? Her daughter did that. Son did that. Maybe even the other daughter paid. That's why I kept focusing on that roof for some reason. Because Queen watches everything. I kept saying, damn, that roof is clean. And then poof, voila, out of the blue, we find a camera. Maybe. Perspective says it's convoluted, the case. What I'm trying to make you understand is that we don't know these people and they have regular people problems. And it don't have to have nothing to do with Epstein, Weinstein, the Olympics. They're just human beings who have human being problems. I don't think it's an outsider for the very reason outsiders don't take bodies out of the house. If this is a robbery, I came to rob you, sexual assault, I don't take you with me. very rare cases of the perpetrator taking the body out. This is why I know it's personal. So whoever it is, whoever you think it is, I can't bank on the stranger theory. I don't know her. She don't know me. I'm just picking a random house to rob. Why am I going to take her out? For what? I don't know her. I don't know that she's a mother of a famous person. I'm going to leave her here. Whether it was a robbery and she jumped up and heard something, they got caught. Okay, you hit her, she bled. What am I taking her out for? I ain't taking her out. Sexual assault, I ain't gonna take her out. I got a mask on. Don't you see me standing in front of the camera? What am I take her out for? Pay attention. In most homicide cases, and I hate to say it, but we're dealing with facts. In most homicide cases, the body is removed because it was a homicide that took place in the residence. Just like there was a fire here in Knoxville this week. And these dodo birds set the trailer on fire. And when the fire was put out, they took a victim out of the fire and he had a gunshot wound. So I'm assuming whoever was in the trailer with the dead man, they set the trailer on fire to hide a murder. Somebody says you can exactly kidnap your mother and your mother-in-law and then let her go. Well, she's let go, sweetheart. Where is she? Right. Oh, can't let her go. Well, you can't because more than likely she's going to recognize your voice. You know, this is the thing about the mask. And there was a joke about that once. It was a black joke. The guy comes up with a gun, and it's like, hey, give me your money. And then the victim says, Pookie, take that damn mask off. You know I know that's you. You see, if it's somebody that Nancy knows that entered her house, the mask don't mean nothing. They said she was sharp, and she probably is a sharp lady. And she can tell who the person is because she's been around them. So even if she woke up groggy, she can tell by how you stood, your smell, how you dress, your stature, and she probably even called her name out. So this is how stupid people are when they commit crimes. Well, Constantine, they're probably not related. The Bitcoin letters probably have nothing to do with her being taken out of her house. That's just some people who took advantage of the storyline. And I want to say this so people can get a better understanding. The Bitcoin, the guy who's arrested and then the person who's sending the letters to TMZ and the news station is no different than the people who make fake GoFundMe pages. Are you following? They're one and the same. People who pretend that they're relatives of a victim and put up a GoFundMe and they want you to donate money, and then you start getting information that, oh, we don't know them. We didn't put up that GoFundMe. They're not in our family. It's the same thing. The only difference is the person is actually showing himself and giving a legal name on the GoFundMe. And the next thing you know, GoFundMe takes it down. Checkmate. And from my understanding, from what I've been hearing all night and in today, they can't find you on that Bitcoin wallet because you got to legally use ID to claim the money. Checkmate. So, Mr. Brewski, you gave the fans the wrong information the other day during the live when you said it can't be tracked. My understanding that it can be tracked because this blockchain business is public information. And now there are new laws pertaining to the Bitcoin. Just saying. And then two, this is just a little secret between you and me. Shh, don't tell nobody. That's the reason they didn't want to talk to Savannah. Because the longer they interacted, they knew they'd get caught. Stay woke. I pay attention to everything that's said. I pay attention to everything that's not said. And I find it very bizarre and coincidental that we have allegedly two separate people trying to get money from Savannah Guthrie, but neither person wanted to deal with her directly, yet she's the money bag, the cash cow. No disrespect to you, Savannah. Why is that? You want her money for her mother, but yet you don't want to deal with her. You want to deal with a news station and TMZ. Make it make sense. Put it together. Boy A gets arrested in LA for contacting Guthrie relatives, but not Savannah. Allegedly 3, but they won't name the other person. Who might that be? Cameron, stay woke. Then over here, boy B, he's sending letters to TMZ and news stations, but he doesn't want to talk to Savannah. You don't find that strange and coincidental? And although boy A may not know boy B, but I got a feeling boy A knows Annie and Tommaso. Checkmate. You know, some people told me I went in the wrong line of work. And I thank you for that compliment, but I could never be a police officer detective because I don't like running and chasing no damn body. And I definitely don't want to take no bullets. But seriously, the fact they didn't take her, they didn't leave Nancy, leads me to believe this is a personal crime. Somebody that she could recognize. And that's why I said it doesn't matter that you went in there with a mask, a knitted mask and latex gloves. She still could recognize you. You knew that. That's why you took her out of there. Yeah, but Sony, did you not hear me? You ain't been listening to the live. Did you not realize what happened in Columbus, Ohio? He was covered up too, and he in jail too. Checkmate. Because you got to start somewhere and you got to end somewhere. So just like somebody drove from Illinois to Columbus, broke in a house and shot 2 people, there was an eye in the sky across the street. And that's how he got caught. And he had been there before, weeks before, in his own car. So you are sneaking around this residence, perhaps. The lady had cameras on the buildings. That's why we're where we are today with this live stream. There was a visual of her. Could be, I don't know. Thank you so much, Linda. Well, the one thing I've learned from detectives, they always say if you want to find out who the killer is, you got to think like one. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to Nancy, that she's DEAD, but possibly she is. That's why this ransom stuff never went anywhere. They don't have anything to do with Nancy. They're just some bums out there who want to take advantage of a storyline. So to me, like I told you, it's no different than the people who do the fake GoFundMes. You don't even know the people who you're saying, oh, I'm the sister, I'm the brother, I'm the cousin, and you put up a GoFundMe. It's the same thing. It's just Bitcoin. There's no difference. There's no difference. A stranger, always remember that. A stranger has no reason to take the body out. That's why you know it's personal. It's somebody that knows Nancy. Nancy knows the person. So you putting the mask on, all that means nothing. You think she don't know what you smell like? Do you know everybody has their own smell? My aunt once told that to me many years ago. When I would give her my clothes or give her something that I didn't want, she'd say, your clothes always smell so good. They have a certain type of smell. And even when I used to go to my grandmother's house, she had a certain type of smell. And I remember after she died, I could smell that smell in my apartment. I remember I was telling my uncle, I said, I can smell Granny. And he got kind of nervous. He said, what? He said, you can smell her? I said, yeah, I can smell her. Because she had a certain type of odor. Okay? So this is why you putting a mask on is bullshit. You can't hide this when you left your eyebrows out. You left the mustache out. You left the shape of your lips out, Dodo Bird. Now come for me, I'm queen. You did that, I didn't. It's just like right now, I could go put on a mask and come back on the live. And you can best believe one of my fans is gonna say, Queen, what you doing with that mask on? Checkmate. Because if you watch me enough, you know the shape of this nose, these eyes, the eyebrow, my lips. And just like Surviving the Survivor zoomed in the picture, FBI is looking at everybody that knows Nancy, and they are looking at that zoomed in picture to compare it to all her friends, church members, the roofer, the gardener, the pool guy, Tommaso, her daughter, any of Tommaso's friends. And yes, I found information that some YouTubers already put out about one of Tommaso's friends who has been arrested for embezzlement, robbery. Now, was this in his past when he was young? I don't know, because I couldn't get nothing pulled up on a date and time. But I find it very interesting. You are a school teacher and you're in cahoots in a band with somebody who has been arrested for robbery, theft, embezzlement. And this crime is embezzlement with the Bitcoin. Checkmate. Old habits die hard. Just like boy A arrested in LA, Mr. Derek Kalela. He just got arrested in October for fraud, stealing money from his job with unemployment benefits or something to that nature. So he's desperate for money. And it's hard to live in LA. And if you look at his mugshot, he looks like a punk rocker with the big earring and the ball on it and the weird haircut. So I'm going to ask Tommaso and Annie, do you know Derek? Do y'all know Derek? Because when you read that text message, hey y'all, where my money at? Or did you get the Bitcoin app? Which is it? Because as somebody said on one of the podcasts, why are you messaging Annie and Tommaso, but not Savannah? She's the one with the money. Boy B, why are you messaging TMZ and news stations, but not Savannah? I'm woke. I want to end into this because I'm getting a headache. That's why I didn't go live yesterday. I couldn't take it anymore. I was feeling weak and I wasn't feeling the best because I'm been tired. It's probably my thyroid. And I was just like, oh, I can't go live. I want to go live. Every time I wake up, I get up, use the bathroom, and I say, oh, go live, queen. I said, no, I'll do it tomorrow because my spirit was telling me, go tomorrow. Maybe something will come about tomorrow. Or maybe nothing won't change. Just go do it tomorrow. My spirit was telling me, I'm gonna let you rest, queen, because it's gonna be a surprise tomorrow. See, I believe in intuition and I believe in the 6 degrees of separation. You rest because we're gonna have a surprise for you tomorrow. You can go live tomorrow because you will have something to talk about during your live. Ain't that something? See, God is in work. Always remember that. The devil is in the details. But God got this. Because he's saying to the universe, I'm not getting ready to let you walk free and you done stole my child. That may be Cameron's, Annie's, and Savannah's mother. But she's my child. And I'm not getting ready to let you walk around. And they now know that the FBI is on their ass. That's why I find it interesting that last week, when Annie and Tommaso were in the car, they were hiding, and that's unnatural to me. Now, you can say whatever the hell you want to say. But right now, if my mother or if I walked out the door right now and the news people were outside, I'm not hiding. For what? Why would I duck down in the car and put a hoodie on? Because my mother is missing. See, that shit you do when you are involved. That shit you see people do when they've already been arrested and got a bond. And the news people come out with the cameras. That was the first thing I thought about. Why are you hiding under a hoodie, Miss Lady? He's sitting ducked down with shades on. I said, my spirit told me, queen, because I didn't want to accuse nobody of nothing. That don't look right. Why are you hiding? It is all over the news that your mother is missing. It's not a secret. Now, the flip side, they're hiding down because of the Banfield allegation that he's a prime suspect or suspect interest, blah, blah, blah. And they're embarrassed. Let it ride. And the person who told Banfield, you shouldn't have told her. And Banfield, you shouldn't have put that out because this is an open investigation. And you just added some extra fluff to this nonsense. Now, the flip side is maybe God wanted it out because he knows this is when people trip up. Because they're watching me. They're watching me. And then they sometimes wild out. And he might just do that. Might go get drunk, might go get high and start talking. Because a lot of people can't hold water. So hopefully, if they are involved, they'll slip up. But then the flip side is, we don't know what the FBI and the Sheriff's Department have on them if they are involved, or could be the brother. And I do find it strange that of all the commentary I've been watching, nobody has implicated Cameron. Why not? Because, you know, that's been said that the person that looks the guiltiest may not be the person who did it. And something my mother used to say when I was a little girl, my mom used to have all kind of crazy sayings. She said, the quiet one is the one that makes the most noise. Mama, I believe you are right. The one that sits the quietest and don't say nothing. He's too motherfucking quiet for me. See, I've been watching Cameron too. I didn't like his video. It almost felt like he was angry and this was a chore, speaking about his mother. And I get it, some people are not used to being on camera, but this is your cell phone. And you video chat with people all the time. So it's not like a room full of cameras and they got the bright lights and everything and you're sitting there. Yeah, I can see you being nervous, but this is your camera. You're just talking into the camera and reading the script. I felt attitude, and I could be wrong. But I felt attitude from him, like, I don't really want to do this. And I don't like that. But as I said, I could be wrong. Some of you said the sister was smirking in the first video. I caught that because some of you been busy with the stills on the photographs. Woo, y'all are busy out here. And I did catch a smirk. And in one still, I caught a smirk from him too. And I said, I just hope that's just, you know, you chopping it up when you're editing, because you're going to get different facial expressions when you edit. Kind of like when I go in here and I edit my shorts. My face is doing all type of different things within the time allotted because it's chopping up my facial expressions. So some got my mouth open, my eyes are closed. You understand what I'm saying? Something I haven't dwelled on during my lives is about Savannah. I want everybody to role play with me. Has it dawned on any of you what she's thinking right now? What she has been thinking? She has thought about every conversation she has had with her mother, her brother, her sister, her husband, Anybody at work, she is thinking about everything in the news, every video, every negative comment made about her, her brother, her sister, the husband, Tommaso, everything law enforcement has said to her. Savannah is thinking about all of that. And you can imagine all of that is swirling around in her head, and she's trying to put it together to get an understanding of what the universe is trying to tell her. Exactly, Anne. And see, she can't come out and tell you what she's thinking, okay? She can't come out and tell you, yeah, we've had problems. I had a problem with this, I had a problem with that, or the sister brother had a problem. She can't tell you that. But you should know law enforcement has asked her, what's your relationship with your mother? What's your relationship with your sister, her husband, your brother, your other relatives? Is there anybody that's illegitimate as a child? Is there anybody that really ain't a brother or sister? Y'all ain't never thought about that, have you? I don't miss nothing, baby. I don't miss nothing. Is there any one of them that's adopted? Uh-oh. Come on, Queen. Who's got debt? Who's come to you for money recently and you told them no, or you told them yes? You gave it to them. You didn't give it to them. How many times have they asked you? What is it like when they ask? Is it anger? Is it bitterness? Have you had a fight or argument with any of your brothers and sisters, or even your mother? Yeah, they got to ask Savannah the same thing. Do you have any stalkers? Anybody stalking you, sending you letters, nasty letters? How do you feel about your brother and your sister? How do you feel about your sister's husband? Somebody came to chat and said she's got a teenager. Don't know if he's old enough to pull this off. This guy's kind of bigger. I doubt this is the son. Could be wrong. But she's got to think about everything that's gone on with her family, work, husband, life, and put it together. And I'm going to say this because I have not said it on a live, but I will say it now. She heard what Banfield said about Tommaso. And you have to know that's been on her mind. Even if she don't want to think he's done something to her mother. She has thought about it, contemplated, and she'd have to be scared. Only a fool wouldn't be. Okay? Only a fool wouldn't be. Excuse me. Because the one thing none of you have considered with all the chitter-chattering in the chats, Savannah is on the ground in Tucson, possibly with the abductor. I'm woke. She's got to have security with her because she is on the ground. And if this is about her, she needs to be watched at all times. And frankly, I would be afraid to be around any of the motherfuckers. That's Queen. And that's all you've been hearing for days. Oh, they over here, they left, they was in the car. That girl is probably petrified of her own siblings. Hello, Deborah. See, ain't nobody talking about that. Everybody's talking about everything but that. Have you all considered what she feels like being in the company of her own brother, sister, and that Tommaso fella, and wondering if I'm eating and breaking bread with a killer? Let's if they disperse. Because when they said the other day they have left Annie's house and went and stayed at another house, I was petrified. Hell yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't say it to you all, but I'm telling you now. I wanted to call it myself and say, go get you a room somewhere else and you meet all of them in public or at the sheriff's office. We ain't staying in the same room together or no same house. Hell no. So we can look up and you tell me Savannah had a stroke or heart attack and she went missing. I'm woke. Trust no one. Since Mr. TMZ wants to say the letters are coming from Tucson, well, the cash cow is on soil. And she needs to be very careful because she's in a den of thieves and wolves. And that's the scary part of this story. Not that this woman is missing. She was assaulted in her house, violated, taken out, maybe deceased. The daughter is on soil now, trying to get to the bottom of this story about her mother. And she may be sleeping with the enemy. And my dear, that is scarier. Because if we find out, God forbid, that it's one of her siblings, that girl will never be the same. Savannah Guthrie will never be the same. How could you be the same when you've come home to try to find your mother, and all the while you're talking to this one and this one and that one, and you've been talking to the motherfucker that hurt your mama? That's your own kin. Do you know how sickening that is? So I pray it's not the siblings, Tommaso, whomever. I pray it's nobody in this circle of relatives, because it's going to be devastating to the other relatives to know they were in the thick of it with the demon. And that's a heavy burden to carry. Very heavy. Sony, I did see it. Can somebody look at the photo and make a guesstimate that they know the person in those photos? Has somebody already told law enforcement they know who's in the photos? News Nation is the source, everybody.
Out of Tucson, Arizona, the FBI just releasing both a series of photos along with a video of what they are calling a potential subject in the Nancy Guthrie case. Not suspect, subject. Let's get right out to senior national correspondent Brian Enton, who is in the Tucson area for us, joins us live on the phone. Brian, this seems to be a really big deal here.
Yeah, I mean, this is massive. This is the biggest development that we have had since this case broke open. Now that we have these photos, and I mean, they're terrifying, Nicole. When they said they were going to release a surveillance photo, I was thinking maybe something from a gas station or something like that. I had no idea that they were going to be able to get the photos and video off of the Ring camera, the Nest camera, I'm sorry, which apparently you back end ways. Cash Patel tweeted out that totally covered from head to toe. He's in a mask. He's got gloves on. Clearly, it seems like this was a professional who knew exactly what they were doing. You can see what appears to be a gun and like a concealed holster near the waist.
Where? I didn't see that.
Now, Savannah
Where did you see a gun?
has posted on Instagram these photos, and we believe our mother is still alive. And honestly, that's the first thing I thought when I saw these. I mean, it looks so professional. When we were starting to sort of discount the kidnapping ransom theory, then you see these photos.
Where do you see a holster at?
And it seems to almost back that up now that this
A holster, so that's not a backpack?
Very sophisticated, professional.
So they're calling that a holster, not a backpack. I thought it was a backpack. I'm
What was the
sorry.
latest that you saw at the house? What was going on out there?
So it's been quiet at the house, but what's interesting is in these photos, and there's also video that has now been released, you see the suspect, and I think I think we can confidently say suspect now. I mean, why else would this guy show up
Exactly.
in his house?
But he's got it on both arms, so I thought it was a backpack. I don't know.
But you see him pick up some, like, brush, like some flowers.
Exactly, that's what I said.
Like, pull off part of a bush right there. And it's so interesting because when we went up to the door and saw the blood, we also saw that little, like, the little piece of the bush that he had picked off.
Yes.
I don't know what he was using that for.
Yes.
He was trying to use it to cover the camera.
Yes.
Or use it to pull off the cameras. I don't think he'd be concerned about thumbprints because he's got his glove on. But that little piece of like weeds and brush that he picked up was actually still on the ground. I remember seeing it when we went up to the door and got video of the blood.
Of his waistband?
That is really interesting.
Let me stop right there.
Brian, as of right
That's exactly what I said to myself the other day. I'm going to start saying what I think now on the lives, so that way it don't sound cuckoo. I was saying to myself the other day, what is that green stuff near the door? Because you didn't see any pots or plants or greenery in all the footage that people have been showing, and Brian has been up to the door showing the blood. So I was like, what is that green stuff? Now, when you see this footage here, that's what he has in his hand. It's the green stuff that's down by the door. He either grabbed that out of the pot that would be to your left coming out of Nancy's door. It was either in the pot or around the pot. He pulled it up like Brian is saying, what is he using that for? And if you go back to the beginning of this live, you'll hear me say, what was that stuff in his hand? I said, that's what was on the ground by her front door. Why did he have it in his hand? This is very interesting information. And now you all are saying he had a gun holster. He's saying the same. I did not notice in the photos a gun holster. I noticed he's got two things going around the shoulders, which I assume was a book bag or a backpack, because they're both in both pictures. And yes, the commentator said there's a star on the jacket. If you look very close to this photograph, you can see the star on the jacket by the strap around his shoulder. So look very closely. You can see the star on the jacket. If any of you know someone with this type of jacket, above the bosoms, and it also has a star on the jacket, call the FBI immediately, please call.
right now, the sheriff is saying that there will be no press conferences. And as I was just speaking with the former FBI agent before you here, we saw numerous press conferences at the beginning of this case in the first few days when Nancy Guthrie went missing, when there really didn't seem to be a lot of information that was you images of what is really compelling, truly actually terrifying, as you said, to think of somebody showing up at your front door with a gun, a mask, gloves, and trying to obstruct the view of your doorbell camera. Do we know if that will change when it comes to a press conference? Is there any inkling that we will get some?
I imagine there would have to be at some point. The fact that they just put these photos out without any real explanation or press conference it did kind of surprise me because we don't really know the full context behind.
Is this the gun holster
put them out right now.
picture?
At the same time, they do sort of speak for themselves. I mean, it just, again, when I first thought when we got the source saying that there was going to be a surveillance photo coming out this afternoon, I assumed it was going to be something from the gas station, just something sort of generic. I had no idea that.
Oh, the black thing. Okay, that's the gun holster. I see it now. I have to look closer. Look very carefully at the photo near the crotch. So now looking down near the crotch, you can see the gun, the black gun is sitting pew pew out of the holster. Sorry, I missed that. Why do you have a weapon? Why do you have a weapon? You're going in with a GUN. That would tell me you were going in to hurt her. See, this is even deeper than now just getting the footage and looking at the holster, seeing the weapon protruding out of it. You were going to do harm to her. So this is why people have been saying, who are paying attention, ex-detectives, they know better. Because it goes back to what I said, a stranger has no reason to take you out. You used the gun in the house, probably hit her in the head, in the nose, in the face. That's why she bled. So why would anybody trust anyone who's using force on an old lady? She can't fight you and you have a whole weapon? That's why she was bleeding, I'm sure. She got hit in the face or head. That's why it's blood out in the front. But where I have the problem with that, the blood doesn't go anywhere. So why doesn't it go down the sidewalk to lead to where she would get into a car? This is where I'm confused. The blood, there's no blood trail going down that walkway.
This is what they were going to release because, again, they told us that Nancy did not have a subscription for her Google cameras, and so there was no way to recover the video. So we just assumed that those cameras were not going to be helpful at all. But apparently, there is a back end the FBI has in collaboration with Google, where somehow these images were saved, which is really incredible when you think about it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
So Mr. Enton's on the case. I like Mr. Bryan. I don't know how I missed that, you guys. I guess I wasn't paying attention. But now when I look at the shape of it and I hold the picture back, blowed up, yeah, you can see it's the shape of a GUN. Show it again. Why do you take a weapon to the scene? You took the weapon to put fear in Nancy Guthrie, number one. You knew she would be alone because if, let's say, it's a stalker or you've been watching, you knew she'd be by herself. So what is the purpose of the GUN? I think we know the purpose of the GUN. You took it to, one, frighten her, get her to move, and I'm going to just say it on the live, to end her life. There's no logical reason to take a GUN to an 84-year-old's home. And as I said before, if this was somebody who had no idea who lived here, they watched the house, they didn't see movement, they didn't see children playing, they didn't see dogs coming out, and just said, okay, I'm getting ready to go rob this house, why would you take the old lady out? Stay woke, everybody. Before I go, we're going to weigh the possibilities one more time. A stranger has no reason to take you out of the house because you don't know him or her, number one. Number two, most crimes are committed by people who know the victim, vice versa. They've had some type of entanglement with the person, meet and greet, work situation. Here we see it is a weapon. So that means you went there with intent to harm. You are covering up with brush from outside shrubbery. We now know that's why I was down there by the door, because I was questioning that. I kept saying, where is that greenery coming from? By the door. We now know. You didn't think you were going to be seen, or you didn't care. You had to have known that somebody was in there that couldn't fight back. That's why you went in the dead of the night. You didn't do it during the day. I doubt there's much movement in our house during the day. What's the difference? Wearing a mask, what's the difference? Because we can see your car during the day. Neighbor could see the car during the day. UPS, somebody coming through could see the car during the day. The car could be made during the day. You knew exactly who was in there. So what we're trying to understand now, seeing you with the gloves, the mask, the GUN in the holster, you went with intent to harm Nancy Guthrie. You took her out of there. But before you took her out of there, you were on her property in her vicinity for some while. And we could see this going around. Looks like you had a bag of sorts. What did you take out of her house? What were you looking for? Did you find what you were looking for? Where is Nancy Guthrie? I do not think this is a good scenario and a good ending and a positive ending. We are now 10 days in. We've had a bunch of hocus pocus MFs trying to get money, but neither wanted to reach out to Savannah Guthrie. This is bullshit. I don't think this lady's alive. Somebody went into her house to murder her. And if you are a family member looking at this video footage, you know that yourself. There's no ransom. There's no holding her hostage. There's no holding her to get information. Somebody went there deliberately to harm an 84-year-old woman. Why? None of us are perfect. Yeah, that person means business, exactly. Because if you're just going to get her to get rid of her, you don't need a weapon. There's nobody else in there but her. And more than likely, you knew that. Because why would you take the risk of somebody else being in there who could tackle you, fight you, even with the GUN? If the person wants, they still could try to fight you, because you knew that would show force, that would make her move, that would frighten her. And I think you used it because there's hate here. Somebody said the other day, anger. Is anger, Queen? No, honey. No, honey. We have bypassed anger. We have bypassed anger. This is hate. And I know some of you can't wrap your head around someone hating an 84-year-old, but that is exactly what this is. Seriously, this is hate. And I believe you hit her. Now that we know there's a weapon, because everybody's trying to figure out where that blood came from. You hit her, didn't you? You hit her in the head, or you hit her in the nose, or you hit her in the mouth. But I'm trying to understand why there's no blood trail down the walk to the circular drive. And if you're covering up the door, I'm trying to put it together. No blood going down the walk Did you knock on the door? Did you knock on the door or ring a bell? And Nancy got up and foolishly opened the door, because I've got to make some sense at why there's no trail going away. Well, she can't walk, baby, so she couldn't have ran. But I got to try to explain the blood, because we've got him at the door, and he's got shrubberies. He's got the shrubs for some reason trying to obscure what he's doing. But I've got to figure out why there's no trail coming out, because you don't stop bleeding if you've been hit with something. The blood just don't stop. So you're talking about holding somebody up with a towel or something to try to make it stop, holding them up, shutting the door. We don't hear that the front door is open. So I'm wondering if perhaps she went to the front door. Maybe she opened the front door, see what the hell was going on, or they rung a bell. I don't know. Something about the front door don't add up. Even though we got him at the front door, but the blood stops there. So why would the blood stop there? Because you never heard Brian Eaton say, oh, look, it goes down the sidewalk, because it's a long walk to the drive. It stops right there. Did he hit her there if she opened the door? And he took her out through the garage. I don't know. This is some weird SHIT, because they're not telling us everything. My gut tells me that. Did she try to run out? Yeah, I need that explained about the blood at the front door, because it doesn't go anywhere. It's like somebody said, she's standing still. And that would make sense if she opened the door. Maybe she got up, maybe she was up doing something, maybe she's reading the Bible and she heard something, or she got movement on the camera and thought, there's somebody outside, and foolishly went instead of calling 911. And then he just came out of nowhere. She opened the door, swung the door open, and he hit her. Pushed her back in. And that's where our crime scene is, in the entry of Nancy's home. And I also have another problem. I want to know what the family members were doing for 1 hour. Because if you notice, people who are giving the timeline on their networks, they're leaving out the 11 o'clock timeline. Why? Somebody called her family members to say she didn't show up for church. So you got to her house allegedly at 11 something. Now you all are changing it and jumping it to 11:57. Let's stop playing these games, okay? Which is it? Somebody called her family, because this is what you said, Sheriff, earlier. 11:10, somebody called them, whoever them are, and then they went to her house. And at 11:57, they called 911. Well, I wouldn't want to know what the fuck you were doing for 40-some minutes. That must be the lucky number. 40, 50-something minutes. What were you doing at her house for that long? Because you had to have seen the blood out front. You had to have seen the blood seen inside. Checkmate. So you're contaminating the scene, ain't you? Walking around. And then you got to ask yourself, who went to the house to look for Nancy Guthrie? Checkmate. Because what's going to be even more crazy if who we think is involved are the same ones that went to her house. And I want to know why you news people have alleviated the 11 o'clock time frame from your broadcasts, because the sheriff put this out a week ago. Now, when you go on these news stations, you all have alleviated the 11 o'clock, 11:10 phone call. Why is that? And as far as you all saying you looked for Nancy, yeah, I'm being cynical now. You looked for her where? She can't walk, remember? That is what you told us, the public. Mommy can't walk. So where were you looking for Nancy? This shit stinks. It reeks. And I'm going to say this and I'm out of here. We live in a public world with social media, CCTV footage. Savannah stays on Instagram. She posts pictures, different things, Facebook, whatsoever. If somebody wanted Savannah Guthrie, DEAD, they knew exactly where to find her. If they wanted her husband, they know where to find him. They wanted her children, they would know where to find them. She works for a major news affiliate in New York City. Shall I say any more? If that little Italian guy could find that CEO of that medical insurance company and gun him down on the street, you know it wouldn't be hard to find Savannah Guthrie or anybody that works for the news and in a public position, since you all love to Google. She wouldn't be hard to find. So no matter how you weigh it, this is not an outsider. And if you listen to many broadcasts, that is the consensus, that this is somebody that knows the Guthries. And whether it is to hurt Savannah, she still has other siblings. So I refuse to say it's an outsider, because an outsider wouldn't take mommy out of the house. But then the flip of the coin could be, it's an outsider. And they went in to take mommy out to hurt the Guthrie family. And someone just gonna naturally assume it's about Savannah because she's famous. Has the person who asked for the ransom money by Bitcoin contacted Savannah today? Because as of yesterday, she was not contacted. And I think we know why she was not contacted, because they don't have Nancy Guthrie and could not provide proof of life. So you're back to the drawing board of the who and the why. That's my commentary. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Follow me on the Newsbreak app. I got a nice little following over there. Thank you all for the support. Honey, I love getting my little notices to show me I've got somebody new following me over there, and they have been showing me love. And when I say I get more views on my videos than I do on YouTube. And it's really sad, because I work hard over here. They don't get to see me interact, because I have a time frame of how much I can make a video. It has to be under 10 minutes. So they don't get to enjoy and see and interact like you all do. And I've got one video pertaining to Nancy Guthrie. It's over 100,000 plus views. And I thank them. And if you are following me over there, thank you. Thank you. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live. I believe an ending is coming soon, and it may not be the ending that the Guthries want, but I believe justice is coming for Nancy Guthrie. Yes, I believe that. Because as I said to you all during this live, this is God's child. And he don't play about his children. So whatever the reason, the motive, the perpetrator or more, God don't like ugly. And the FBI is on your ASS, okay? As they should be. Hopefully we will get a arrest soon, because I believe somebody is looking. We have a reward, $50,000, and somebody's gonna go high-ho for that reward, baby, because somebody has seen that little ugly jacket. Somebody has seen that little ugly jacket with the stripe and the star on it. And you can best believe it's almost 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Somebody on the horn to the FBI about that damn jacket. And the dark eyebrows. And the dark mustache. Justice for Nancy Guthrie. Once we get that brand, it's checkmate, because all these clothes have lot numbers and SKU numbers. Yes, they do. So if they didn't get it from the thrift store, shit out of luck. Yeah. You see, people always forget something. You know, they talk about this all the time in true crime. You forgot you should have went and bought some khakis with no emblem on them. Black t-shirt, black jacket with nothing on it. That's where you messed up. You also messed up by being on this video. And if they got this, they've got other things. Because best believe, police were not at the Circle K because they were bored last weekend. Somebody saw you. Gotcha. Thanks for listening to the Vault XL.